Okay, we are back. It's Health Matters. Maury Eskenazi, Shannon O'Kelly, brought to you by Integrated Rehabilitation Group. This is a pretty interesting topic, Shannon, because, of what I went through to lose weight. We have an author. His name is Jonathan Bailor, and he wrote a book called The Smarter Science of Slim. So I'm just going to throw just a random question. You just sit and answer for half an hour. What is the Smarter Science of Slim?
The Smarter Science of Slim is the single largest scientific analysis of long-term fat loss and health ever conducted. It's based on over 1,100 international research studies, and it's the only resource of its kind that's been endorsed by the worldwide scientific community, including the Harvard Medical School, Johns Hopkins, and UCLA. Its underlying premise is all about focusing on the quality rather than the quantity of the food we eat and the exercise we get, and it shows a scientifically proven lifestyle where we can actually eat more and exercise less, but smarter, and burn fat and boost our health in the long term.
See, people are pulling over right now, and they're stopping and turning their radios up. What? Eat more and exercise less? Yeah, that's
smarter. It's
smarter.
There's a
Smarter.
catch. There's
Totally.
always a catch.
Totally.
It's interesting what you said. I'm just curious. In your research, the diet industry is a multi-million-dollar industry. How many different diets are out there? Do you have a number just to throw out?
Well, I don't have a number to throw out there, but it does break my heart that we have a diet industry, because a diet is by definition temporary, and I don't think anyone out there wants to lose weight temporarily or boost their health temporarily. What we're after is long-term health and fitness.
Once you get to the point where it's a lifestyle change instead of a diet, that's when you find success, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's really what makes me passionate about this research. Is it enables us to use scientifically proven facts to take our existing eating habits and our existing exercise practices and just do them smarter for the rest of our lives.
So what got you interested in this?
I've always been interested in health and fitness. In fact, as early as high school, I actually became a personal trainer. So instead of cutting grass, I was actually training clients. And sadly, though, it didn't take long before, in working with clients, I began to see how ineffective traditional health and fitness techniques were in the long term. My clients would come see me, sometimes spending thousands of dollars, and they'd get great results when they saw me. But then they'd get back to their regular lives and were no longer able to starve themselves or exercise for 2 hours a day.
Well, just like you see those shows where they take the morbidly obese and they have somebody live with them for a couple of months and they lose like 100 pounds, and then the person goes away and then they fall off the wagon, right?
And sadly, not only do they fall off the wagon, but what scientists have shown is they're actually much worse off than they were beforehand, internally and metabolically.
But why is that? From your research, what is the number one myth, I guess, you uncovered with all your research? Because you told me you did a decade of research.
Yeah, the 1,100 studies in collaboration with the institutions I mentioned took over a decade.
Wow.
And the most common myth is just that this eat less, exercise more mantra that's been beat into us is absolutely not healthy. When we starve ourselves, we become malnourished, we dramatically slow down our metabolism, we burn a bunch of muscle tissue, and if we're lucky, we'll burn some fat. But at what cost?
So that's interesting. So what you're saying is the theory that we've all been kind of educated is eating less, exercise more, is actually doing the opposite to the body's metabolism, if you will?
It's absolutely counterproductive in the long term. And that's what makes it so tough is in the short term, we'll see the scale move. But what we don't see is what's happening inside our bodies. In fact, studies show that up to 70% of that weight loss is actually muscle tissue. And if you want to keep fat off your body, burning off your muscle tissue is the last thing you want to do.
And metabolically, explain why that is. Down on the cellular level, fat burns.
Oh, absolutely. Well, if you think about it in terms of maybe just an economic analogy, muscle takes a lot of calories to maintain. If your body does not have enough calories, it's going to say, enough of this muscle tissue, get out of here. And it's going to burn that first. It's going to save its fat in case of emergency. Believe it or not, our bodies don't like to starve. And they've evolved over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, to not starve. And when we try to starve them, it doesn't work out.
Interesting.
We're talking to Jonathan Bailor. He's the author of the book, The Smarter Science of Slim, available Amazon, probably all over the place.
All over the place. Amazon's got the best price.
Okay, and is it Kindle ready too? Can you
it is Kindle, iPad, it's iPhone. You can do whatever you want with it.
That's good to know. So In your book, you talk about sane and insane foods. So can you name some sane and insane foods?
Sure. Well, and SANE is just an acronym for the 4 factors that determine the quality of a calorie: satiety, aggression, nutrition, and efficiency. Sane or high-quality calories are natural foods that are high in water, fiber, and protein. So non-starchy vegetables, lean sources of protein, chicken, grass-fed organic beef, seafood, nuts, berries, citrus fruits, things like that.
So sugar is okay then, or no?
No, sugar is very insane.
So
insane.
I'm talking
natural
about
sugar, though.
I guess I meant fruit as far as the sugar
Well,
goes.
you'll notice I actually didn't say fruit.
Right.
I said berries and citrus fruit, which actually have relatively low sugar when compared to the nutrition they provide.
Right.
So what kind of fruit would you recommend? You say berries and citrus, but what about bananas and apples?
There's
and
sugar in those, right?
Yes, well, sadly, especially like apples, the percent of fructose, especially in our modern apple crop, has gone up dramatically over time. And we've all heard about high fructose corn syrup. Fructose is not super. It doesn't work out super well when we take a lot of it in. So
You're a real friend of corn syrup, then, aren't you?
I am not a fan of corn syrup.
So in that case, then that's the Smarter Science of Slim. How does that compare to the traditional diets like Atkins, Weight Watchers? I was on the ideal protein diet, and from what you're saying, the diet I was on is kind of what you're talking about as far as that type of thing, because I lost fat but didn't lose any muscle mass, that type of thing, and stayed away from sugar and fruits, and so continue.
Yeah, well, traditional diets are temporary and rigid.
Right.
The Smarter Science of Slim is about using scientifically proven facts to influence the way we live our lives. And it fundamentally targets a different problem. It's after long-term fat loss and maximal wellness, which if you want to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, it's not going to be a good choice for you. I mean, that's not its goal. Its goal is to fundamentally change the way your body works to make you healthy and fit for the long term.
So your basic recommendation is eat right, sane foods you described, and exercise in moderation. How do you exercise? What's your recommendation there?
Well, and it's funny too. I say, eat healthy. That is the. Don't even need to read the book. There it is. The challenge is defining what healthy foods are, and the book does that in detail. But when it comes to exercise, it's funny because the more we can exercise, by definition, the lower the quality of our exercise. In jest, if I told you to go find the steepest hill you could, strap 100 pounds on your back, and sprint up it for 2 hours, you'd think I was crazy. If we do high-quality exercise, or exercise which actually causes a hormonal change in our body, we can't do a lot of it. There's an inverse relationship between the quality of the exercise you do and the quantity.
And are you recommending interval training, or, when you say exercise, are you talking 30 minutes of a burst exercise and stop? Give us an example of what exercise you're prescribing.
The specific type of exercise my research showed to be most effective at long-term fat loss is what's called eccentric training, or a type of training which allows you to maximally stimulate all of your muscle fibers very safely, and in doing so cause a dramatic hormonal change in your body.
Is there any good programs out there in local gyms that you can sign up for from exercise standpoint that do eccentric training? Can you give us some examples of that?
The sad thing, and the reason I'm so passionate about this work, is a lot of this research hasn't left the research community because it's been performed by researchers, and they're not out there training people. So, my passion is to take this science and get it into gyms and get it into the national dialogue so that we do have gyms which help you learn how to train eccentrically.
Okay, so could you do this for me? Take me through a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack. So what do I have for breakfast?
Breakfast.
Berries.
There's going to be some berries involved. There's probably going to be some Greek yogurt involved. There's definitely going to be a lot of non-starchy
I'm onto the Greek yogurt.
vegetables.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Some eggs, egg whites, a bunch of non-starchy vegetables. I want you to pack that omelet full of more spinach than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah, I'm totally into spinach.
What about broccoli?
How about
broccoli? Absolutely.
How about coffee?
Coffee?
Can I drink coffee?
You can absolutely enjoy coffee.
Okay.
I wouldn't put a bunch of cream and sugar in it, but absolutely you can enjoy some coffee.
Now, how about sweeteners?
Sweeteners are a challenge. If someone's goal is perfection, which no one's goal is perfection, no sweeteners of any kind. Right. However, if you're not trying to be perfect, natural non-caloric sweeteners such as stevia or truvia are going to be dramatically
Dude,
better.
He's speaking my language.
Dramatically
I'm
better.
It totally works too. I'm telling you.
What do you call
I
them?
did the exact same thing. Stevia or Splenda.
Yes,
the yellow stuff.
Splenda is a artificial non-caloric sweetener.
Yeah.
Stevia or Truvia is a natural non-caloric sweetener.
Okay. So let's move on to lunch.
Lunch is going to be let's do maybe a stir fry of again focusing on the non-starchy vegetables and a lot of them and a lot of lean protein, and don't put it over rice because I want you to eat so much of that main course you're too full for anything else.
What if I'm like at work and I can't?
Yeah,
do the
hang on.
stir fry?
I was going to say I'm packing a lunch and I can't.
Packing a lunch?
Yeah.
Do you have a refrigerator?
Yeah, at work, yes.
Absolutely. So maybe some salmon patties or some turkey burgers and a bunch of non-starchy vegetables, maybe some berries and some nuts that you can enjoy to give you that fat that keeps you satisfied.
What
for a
kind of
long
nuts
period
can
of
you
time.
have that aren't high caloric? Almonds?
Well, that's an interesting point.
Okay.
High caloric isn't necessarily
Okay, how
bad.
about forget that question then. Your Honor, I'm going to retract
But
that
is
question.
with the nuts, is it the fat that you want to watch out for?
Oh,
in the
no.
nuts?
With nuts, I don't want you to watch out for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly you shouldn't eat a can of peanut butter every day, but fat is fantastic for you.
So this is a whole different way of thinking, too, is what you're saying.
It absolutely is. But if you think about it, it's actually pretty intuitive. The foods I mentioned are the foods we naturally find on the earth.
That's what I was just going to say. What's the difference? I mean, how do you rate the caveman diet? I've heard about the caveman diet.
The Paleo Diet is a more restrictive version of the Smarter Science of Slim.
Okay.
The Paleo Diet sort of thinks unless it existed a million years ago, it's bad for you, and that's not true. Non-fat Greek yogurt didn't exist a million years ago.
Right.
You know. But it's very similar. It's focused on protein and natural fats and vegetables. That's fantastic.
I guess I can't go try the new nacho taco, Dorito taco at Taco Bell that I've been craving, but I've been staying away.
But you know what's interesting? I mean, you make some valid points and some real interesting points based on science. But how does one out there that's on fixed income afford to shop at the health stores? I mean, that's a real challenge, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And the good news, though, is you don't have to shop at health stores. Bulk resellers are actually the best place to get sane foods because you can buy non-starchy vegetables, good high-quality sources of protein, and natural fats in bulk for actually much cheaper than you can at most convenience stores.
Like Costco type.
Costco, Sam's Club. You can do some phenomenal stuff at those places.
I'm totally into Brussels sprouts now that I've never even had in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
They're fantastic. Yeah, that's so let's move on to dinner then.
So dinner is going to be...
Now, let me interrupt you, but no bread, right? Is there no carbs in any way?
Well, it's definitely not about no carbs because non-starchy vegetables are a carb. Fruits, berries, and citrus fruits are carbs.
Okay.
It's about eating so much good stuff, we're too full for starches and sweets. Always get too full for dessert. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
You know, eat so much of the main course, you don't want the roll. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've all done that, and if you just keep doing it, you're going to burn fat and boost your health without even really trying.
Right.
At dinner, what is a good main course?
Dinner, again, any source of lean protein. So any fish, really any type of meat, followed by a bunch of non-starchy vegetables. And dessert can actually be kind of fun. Take some non-fat Greek yogurt, add a little bit of non-caloric sweetener, maybe some natural peanut butter, and you can get a little peanut butter pie type thing, which is pretty darn good.
I do that. It's fantastic.
And you lost how much weight?
Yeah, it just 83 pounds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Homemade, kind of a homemade mud
it's
pie.
Crazy, and
absolutely.
It's a whole different way of living, and
it's
not a diet. It's a whole different way of life.
It's a different mindset.
And you know, here's the deal with diets. It seems like we're very results oriented. And you're talking about a slow progression of weight loss. I mean, how many pounds are healthy to lose per week, if in your opinion?
Well, the challenge with even using weight as a barometer is, you know, we can dehydrate ourselves and lose a lot of weight really quickly. I mean, if you want to lose weight quickly, go ask a boxer or a wrestler.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll shed 15 pounds in 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. What we want to do is we want our clothes to fit better. We want to feel better about ourselves when we look in the mirror. We want to have more energy. And if you want that, just use your jeans as your barometer. Just take some measurements with a measuring tape. Use that as a barometer. Throw your scale out the window. It's a horribly inaccurate measure of health and fitness.
It's totally true.
But I mean, if you were going to, I mean, I'm not trying to back you in a corner here.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, would you recommend a slow progression then with your diet versus?
Well, I will kindly say that's not a diet.
Okay,
no,
there you
so
go.
I would recommend that with this lifestyle and this science, that a gradual progression into it is a better approach. If you want to run a marathon, you don't go outside and run 26 miles on the first day. You work your way into it. It's the same thing with the science.
Yes.
And it's kind of one of those things that you kind of start doing this and you start eating a little healthier and you start replacing, and you'll be surprised how quickly things are going to fit. You know what I mean? It's
a lifestyle
It's
change.
almost overnight, kind of. You'll see results right away, right?
And the results you will see immediately is your mood and your energy levels and your sleep quality. You will see that literally overnight.
Yeah, and what I found too, and again, it's a little different than that, but the most important thing for me is that I was on a bunch of cholesterol medications that I'm not on now because they took me off it because of that's how healthier I was.
That's amazing.
What is it that changes in your diet that allows, in your opinion, sleep and mood to change?
Most people don't realize that if they're eating a standard Western or American type diet, they are deficient in all sorts of nutrients, and their hormonal balance is completely off kilter. By eating the types of foods prescribed by my research, you will correct those deficiencies and you will basically get your body running as it's designed to. Our bodies are designed to keep us slim and healthy in the long term. I mean, we would have got eaten by lions a long time ago if we were designed to be 350 pounds.
I think the lions were trying to eat healthy. That's why.
There you go.
That's why they stayed away from us.
Yeah, you talk about set point weight and hormonal adjustment or balance. I think I've heard that. Describe that, set point weight.
So that's really core to the smarter science of slim. Instead of the traditional calories in, calories out, we have to manually balance ourselves. What scientists have proven is that much like our heart automatically regulates itself and our breathing automatically regulates itself, so does our body composition as long as our metabolism is working properly. And by keeping our hormones healthy, we can actually lower this set point and enable our bodies to burn fat almost automatically in the long term.
Interesting.
Good stuff. More information. Do you have a website or?
SmarterScienceOfSlim.com. There's all sorts of free stuff and a community that can help you every day.
And go to Amazon or go to any bookstore for more